My name's Katrin Macmillan and I'm the founder of Projects for All.
And Katrin, what is Project for All?
Projects for All is a UK and a US charity, and at the moment our main project is called Project Hello World.
And how did you get into this work?
Project Hello World, I was living in Ethiopia and I had gone to visit the Hama tribe on the Ethiopian border with Kenya in South Omo. And there, as in so many communities that I'd lived with and visited across Africa, they had a school building that had been built for them by a philanthropist that had no resources, no teachers and no students. I think for me it was the catalyst to try and figure out how children could become autodidactic. And
you then linked up with Sugata Mitra.
Yes.
So tell me how that plays into the story.
I had been trying to figure out how children could change their lives, educate themselves without where there were no schools and teachers, and I was directed by Roland Wells to Sugata Mitra's TED lecture and to his Hole in the Wall project, and we based a large part of Project Hello World on his 11 years of research, putting internet-enabled screens into slums in India and figuring out how far children take their education.
These were the Hole in the Wall project,
yeah,
as they were known.
It is, yeah.
And so your first project was in Nigeria. Describe how
yes.
that works.
We started in Suleja in Nigeria, about an hour and 45 minutes north of Abuja. And we partnered with the community in Nigeria to teach them to build a Hello Hub. And a Hello Hub is an outdoor, solar-powered, internet-enabled computer kiosk that's loaded with educational software, has unlimited access to the internet and therefore the world's body of knowledge. It can host a radio station, it can take photographs, make movies. It has large, rugged touch screens that can survive the harmattan and rain. And rugged keypads as well, and 2 screens on either side, and then semicircular benches, so a number of children share a screen at any time.
And how well used is the hub?
It's in use 24 hours a day, so it's used by different members of the community. It's totally open. It's built on the school grounds, on an Islamic school grounds. We built in the height of the Boko Haram violence in opposition to Western education, because we feel that the right response to objection to education is more education. But it's not just for the school, although it is used by the school and their teachers. It's also used by parents and grandparents. It's used by homeless children, children who are both in school and not enrolled in school at all. We have a community support officer, Aliyu, who's there at different times of the day and sometimes night to support and bring forwards and help different children and adults find their place at the hub and log in and get access.
You were saying that at 10:30 at night the children come out of the sewer and turn up to use it.
Yeah, I think it's probable that the street children who are living in the sewer didn't feel entirely welcome at the hub, but we are proudest of their attendance at the Hello Hub because it means that at least that they know that it's for everyone. And we asked Aliyu to change his hours so that he was there to welcome them and support them and help them find their place. And the first thing that they do, they're not literate or numerate, and the first thing that they do is learn to type and play typing games over and over and over and over again, and from there they can start playing all the numeracy and literacy games, watching things on the internet, listening to things, signing up for Facebook accounts and email accounts. The first thing they do actually is they register for all of their accounts, everything that you could possibly get your hands on.
And how do you get internet?
The internet's provided by Etisalat, and they have agreed to pay for all of the data for 10 hubs in Nigeria.
And your next rollout will be in Uganda. Tell me where that will be in Uganda.
We're planning to do 5 hubs across Uganda. Some of them will be in rural village communities. All of them are associated with a school, and others will be in urban city environments, again associated with a city school. It's supported by Lessons for Life Foundation. And again, there, as everywhere, the Hello Hub will be built by the community, and that means that they'll know how to maintain it and repair it, to improve it, to program and code as well. And I think we'll quite soon see that the children are better coders and programmers than we are, I have no doubt.
And you've looked at the behaviour from the original one that you built in Nigeria. What sorts of things are happening? What sorts of learning is going on?
Well, one of the loveliest moments for me, I host the women's group that happens in tandem with the build, and a number of teachers attended the women's group. And I was trying to explain what the internet is before the Hello Hub had been finished. So, and it's quite a difficult concept to explain if you feel like we feel like we've always had it. And eventually a teacher raised her hand and said, "This internet, does it have lesson plans?" And so I got online and pulled up a whole load of lesson plans that related to her area of teaching. And she was quite tearful and quite overwhelmed. And when she came up for air, she said, "For 15 years, I have been teaching without any resources in my classroom." So teachers are using it to download lesson plans. They're also hosting classes at the hub because the screens are large and there's a bench and you can stand and sit around it. Mothers primarily use the hub to look up family health issues. The children are primarily using it for literacy and numeracy. So they're going through the basics. It's interesting that when the internet has gone down on occasion, the adults immediately leave. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so if you've got a personal device, you can stand nearby and do whatever you like. But immediately all of the adults leave, and the children don't miss a beat. So they are far more than we expected using the educational resources that it can host and it's holding. They're often writing and typing in Word as well.
And the research that Sugata Mitra did in terms of the person who's actually doing, the person who's looking over the shoulder, the people who are kind of just big audiences.
It showed that sharing a screen is really beneficial to education, to the educational process. So rather than being bent over a solo tablet or having your own laptop, it is beneficial to share a screen, partly because children show off in front of their friends, and they also guide each other and teach each other. It's lovely watching them become each other's teachers. So in general, there's a pilot, and he or she is controlling the screen and the keypad, and they have two co-pilots, one sitting on either side on the bench, who are saying, "Do this, do that, no, you're wrong, it's this one, it's the triangle, it's the yellow one." And behind them, there's an average at the Hello Hub of 18 children who are observing and watching, and sometimes shouting, but mostly watching. The pilot's learning the most, somewhere in the high 90s. And the co-pilot's learning or retention from the lesson that they did only drops a few percent. It's quite remarkable. But what's most amazing is that the observers, their learning only drops down into the 80s. It's really quite extraordinary. So even just observing children testing their skills at a piece of educational software or playing an educational game is beneficial. And it means that so many more children can have access.